A Ballad, The Lake of the Dismal Swamp, by Thomas Moore. They made her a grave too cold and damp for a soul so warm and true, and she's gone to the lake of the Dismal Swamp, where all night long by a firefire lamp she paddles her white canoe. And her firefly lamp I shall soon see, and her paddle I shall soon hear. Long and loving our life shall be, and I'll hide the maid in the cypress tree when the footsteps of death is near. Away to the dismal swamp he speeds, his path was rugged and sore. Through tangled juniper, beds of reeds, through many a fen where the serpent feeds, and man never trod before. And when on the earth he sunk to sleep, if slumber his eyelids knew, he lay where the deadly vine doth weep, its venison tear and nightly steep the flesh with blistering dew. And near him the she-wolf stirred the brake, and the copper snake breathed in his ear, till he started, cried from his dream awake, "Oh, when shall I see the dusky lake, and the white canoe of my dear?" He saw the lake, and a meteor bright quicked over its surface played. "Welcome," he said, "my dear one's light," and the dim shore echoed for many a night the name of the death-code maid. Till he hollowed a boat of the birchen bark, which carried him off from shore. Far, far he followed the meteor spark, the wind was high and the clouds were dark, and the boat returned no more. But oft from the Indian hunter's camp, this lover and maid so true are seen at the hour of midnight damp to cross the lake by a firefly lamp and paddle their white canoe. All Hallows Eve, by Dorothea Tanning. Be perfect, make it otherwise. Yesterday is torn in shreds. Lightning's thousand sulphur eyes rip apart the breathing beds. Here bones crack and pulverize. Doom creeps in on rubber treads. Countless overwrought housewives, minds unravelling like threads, try lipstick shades to tranquilize fears of age and general dreads. Sit tight, be perfect, swat the spies, don't take faucets for fountain heads, drink tasty antidotes, otherwise you and the werewolf newlyweds. All Souls by Michael Collier. A few of us, Hillary Clinton, Vlad Dracula, Oprah Winfrey and Trotsky, peer through the kitchen window at a raccoon perched outside on a picnic table, where it picks over chips, veggies, olives and a chunk of pâté. Behind us, others crowd the hallway, many more dance in the living room. Trotsky fusses with the bloody screwdriver putted to her forehead. Hillary Clinton, whose voice is the rumble of a bowling ball, whose hands are hairy to the third knuckle, lifts his rubber chin to announce, "What a perfect mask it has," while the Count, whistling through his plastic fangs, says, "Oh, and a nose like a chef." Then one by one the other masks join in. Tail of a gambler, a swashbuckler's hips, feet of a cat burglar. Trotsy scratches herself beneath her skirt, and Hillary, whose lederhosen are so tight they form a codpiece, wraps his legs around Trotsky's leg and humps like a dog. Dracula and Oprah, the married hosts, hold hands, and then let go. Meanwhile, the raccoon squats on the gherkins, extracts pimentos from olives, and sniffs abandoned cups of beer. A ghoul in the living room turns the music up, and the house becomes a drum. The windows buzz. "Who do you love? Who do you love?" the singer sings. Our feathered arms, our stockinged legs, the intricate paws, the filleting tongue. We love what we are. We love what we've become. Field of Skulls by Mary Carr. Stare hard enough at the fabric of night, and if you're predisposed to dark, let's say the window you've picked is a black postage stamp you spend hours at, sleepless, drinking gin after the I Love Lucy reruns have gone off. Stare like your eyes have force, and behind any night's taut scrim will come the forms you expect pressing from the other side. For you, a field of skulls, angled jaws and eye sockets, a trillion scooped out crania. They're plain once you think to look. You know such fields exist, for criminals roam your very block, and even history lists monsters like Adolf and Uncle Joe who stalk the Earth's orb, plus minor baby-eaters unidentified, probably in your very midst. Perhaps that disgruntled mail clerk from your job has already scratched your name on a bullet. That's him, rustling in the azaleas. You caress the thought, for it proves there's no better spot for you than here, your square yard of chintz sofa, hearing the bad news pipe steady from your head. The night is black. You stare, and furious stare, confident there are no gods out there. In this way you're blind to your own eye's intricate machine, and to the light it sees by, to the luck of birth and all your remembered loves. If the skulls are there, let's say they do press towards you against night's scrim, could they not stare with slack-jawed envy at the fine flesh that covers your scalp, the numbered hairs, at the force your hands hold? Halloween Party by Ken Nesbitt. We're having a Halloween party at school. I'm dressed up like Dracula. Man, I look cool. I dyed my hair black and I cut off my bangs. I'm wearing a cape and some fake plastic fangs. I put on some makeup to paint my face white, like creatures that only come out in the night. My fingernails, too, are all pointed and red. I look like I'm recently back from the dead. My mum drops me off, and I run into school, and suddenly feel like the world's biggest fool. The other kids stare like I'm some kind of freak. The Halloween party is not till next week. The Empty House by Walter Delamere. See this house, how dark it is beneath its vast bowed trees. Not one trembling leaflet cries to that watcher in the skies, "Remove, remove thy searching gaze, innocent of heaven's ways. Brood not, moon, so wildly bright, on secrets hidden from sight." Secrets, sighs the night wind, vacancy is all I find. Every keyhole I have made wails a summons faint and sad. No voice ever answers me, only vacancy. Once, the cricket shrills, and far and near the quiet fills with its tiny voice, and then, hush, falls again. Mute shadows creeping slow, mark how the hours go. Every stone is mouldering slow, and the least winds that blow. Some minuter sapling shake, some fretting ruin make, in roof and walls. How black it is beneath these thick bowed trees. Theme in Yellow by Carl Sandburg. I spot the hills with yellow balls in autumn. I light the prairie cornfields, orange, and tawny gold clusters, and I am called pumpkins on the last of October, when dusk is fallen. Children join hands and circle round me, singing ghost songs, and love to the harvest moon. I am Jack-o'-lantern with terrible teeth, and the children know I am fooling. The Witch by Elizabeth Willis. A witch can charm milk from an axe handle. A witch bewitches a man's shoe. A witch sleeps naked. Witch ointment on the back will allow you to fly through the air. A witch carries the 4 of clubs in her sleeve. A witch may be sickened at the scent of roasting meat. A witch will neither sink nor swim. When crushed, a witch's bones will make a fine glue. A witch will pretend not to be looking at her own image in a window. A witch will gaze wistfully at the glitter of a clear night. A witch may take the form of a cat in order to sneak into a good man's chamber. A witch's breasts will be pointed rather than round, as discovered in the trials of the 1950s. A powerful witch may cause a storm at sea. With a glance she will make rancid the fresh butter of her righteous neighbour. Even our fastest dogs cannot catch a witch hare. A witch has been known to cry out while her husband places inside her the image of a child. A witch may be burned for tying knots in a marriage bed. A witch may produce no child for years at a time. A witch may speak a foreign language to no one in particular. She may appear to frown when she believes she is smiling. If her husband dies unexpectedly, she may refuse to marry his brother. A witch has been known to weep at the sight of her own child. She may appear to be acting in a silent film whose placards are missing. In Hollywood, the sky is made of tin. A witch makes her world of air, then fire, then the planets, of cardboard, then ink, then a compass. A witch desires to walk rather than be carried or pushed in a cart. When walking, a witch will turn suddenly and pretend to look at something very small. The happiness of an entire house may be ruined by witch hair touching a metal cross. The devil does not speak to a witch, he only moves his tongue. An executioner may find the body of a witch insensitive to an iron spike. An unrepentant witch may be converted with a frittle lead in the eye. Enchanting witch powder may be hidden in a girl's hair. When a witch is hungry, she can make a soup by stirring water with her hand. I have heard of a poor woman changing herself into a pigeon. At times the witch will seem to struggle against an unknown force stronger than herself. She will know things she has not seen with her eyes. She will have opinions about distant cities. A witch may cry out sharply at the sight of a known criminal dying of thirst. She finds it difficult to overcome the sadness of the last war. A nightmare is witch work. The witch elm is sometimes referred to as all heart, as in she was thrown into a common chest of witch elm. When a witch desires something that is not hers, she will slip it into her glove. An overwhelming power compels her to take something from a rich man's shelf. I have personally known a nervous young woman who often walked in her sleep. Isn't there something witch-like about a sleepwalker who wanders through the house with matches? The skin of a real witch makes a delicate binding for a buck of crumb and pear. When all the witches in your town have been set on fire, their smoke will fill your mouth. It will teach you new words. It will tell you what you've done. To the Dead in the Graveyard, Underneath My Window, by Adelaide Crapsey. How can you lie so still? All day I watch, and never a blade of all the greensod moves, to show where restlessly you toss and turn, and fling a desperate arm or draw up knees, stiffened and aching from their long disuse. I watch all night, and not one ghost comes forth to take its freedom of the midnight hour. Oh, have you no rebellion in your bones? The very worms must scorn you where you lie, a pallid, mouldering, acquiescent folk, meek habitants of unresented graves. Why are you there in your straight row on row, where I must ever see you from my bed, that in your mere dumb presence iterate the text so weary in my ears? Lie still and rest. Be patient, and lie still and rest. I will not be patient. I will not lie still. There is a brown road runs between the pines, and further on the purple woodlands lie, and still beyond blue mountains lift and loom, and I would walk the road, and I would be deep in the wooded shade, and I would reach the windy mountain tops that touch the clouds. My eyes may follow, but my feet are held. Recumbent as you others must I too submit, be mimic of your movelessness, with pillow and counterpane for sod and stone. And if the many sayings of the wise teach of submission, I will not submit, but with a spirit all reconciled, flash an unquenched defiance to the stars. Better it is to walk, to run, to dance, better it is to laugh and leap and sing, to know the open skies of dawn and night, to move untrammelled down the flaming noon, and I will clamour it through weary days, keeping the edge of deprivation sharp, nor, with the pliant speaking on my lips of resignation, sister to defeat. I'll not be patient. I will not lie still. And in ironic quietude, who is the despot of our days and lord of dust, needs but, scarce heeding, waiting to drop grim casual comment on rebellion's end. Yes, yes, wilful and petulant, but now as dead and quiet as the others are. And this each body and ghost of you hath heard, that in your graves do therefore lie so still. Song of the Witches, Double Double Toil and Trouble, by William Shakespeare, from Macbeth. Double, double toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble, filler of a fenny snake, in the cauldron boil and bake, eye of newt and toe of frog, wool of bat and tongue of dog, adder's fork and blind worm's sting, lizard's leg and howlet's wing, for a charm of powerful trouble, like a hell broth boil and bubble. Double, double toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble, cool it with a baboon's blood, then the charm is firm and good.